Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I have a special guest joining us. It's another professional organizer. Her name is Mridu, and she's the owner of Life is Organized. She helps busy women who are tired of feeling overwhelmed take control of their home, time, and life. Recently awarded one of 2013's top 20 home office organizing experts, Mridu believes that being organized helps you live free, happy, and confident. She offers online training so you get the benefits of a personal coach in a way that fits your own schedule. Mridu offers over 100 free videos on her blog to help simplify your home and family life, manage your time, reach your goals, and lose the chaos. You can also get her free 5-day organizing video series at www.lifeisorganized.com. Thanks for joining me today, Mridu.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I have to let everybody know that you and I actually met online, or I guess virtually, whatever.
Right.
It was our National Association of Professional Organizers. The president actually got us connected because she was like, I think you guys would get along.
Right.
And you guys have a lot in common as far as like videos and how you're trying to inspire people and help them get organized. So this is the first time I've actually seen you kind of live in person type thing virtually.
Right.
So it's good to see you.
You too. You too. No, it was great. I think she said we both have oh God, what was it? But yeah, we basically had a lot in common, and we're both trying to reach more people outside of just our local areas.
Right,
so,
right. I think we have a little bit more of an idea of kind of trying to reach out and to share how wonderful your life can be, being organized.
Yes.
We're just trying to share the love, I think.
Yep.
Well, what I like to do, and my husband and I like to do in our podcast, is like we always like to start out our interviews with, tell us a little bit more about you and what you do and how you make lives simpler.
Okay, well, that's a great place to start. Like you said, I am a professional organizing coach. I'm a simplicity expert, which means I help women simplify their lives. If they're most of the women that I work with are kind of at the end of their rope. They've tried everything. They've read the blogs, they've read the books, they've seen the videos, and things just still are chaotic. They have a lot going on in their lives. They're usually managing career, home, families, relationships, and there's just so much going on, and they need just some support and motivation and help to help guide them at how to sort of get things more manageable, simplify these really overcomplicated systems that, this chaotic life we all have, and help them just manage their day-to-day activities. And ultimately, I'm here to help people live happier. Like, it is so important to me that women, especially, that's who I work with, get fulfillment out of their life. That every day they just feel good about themselves. They feel good about what they've gotten done, and and look forward to like being with their family and balancing their lives.
Well, I think that's great because when you talk about working with women, and a lot of times, a lot of professional organizers, their primary client is women. It's not always the case, but it's these busy moms, and I think it's because women seem to carry like all this weight on their shoulders because they feel like they have to be the perfect mother, the perfect wife, the perfect professional, the perfect daughter, perfect friend. I mean, it's just they get so overwhelmed, and it's just kind of hard to keep up. And so, like you said, they usually are at the end of the rope, and they're just like, I just need help. I have no more brain power. Just tell me what I need to do, or help me, guide me along the way. So that definitely helps. And I know people really appreciate professional organizers once they get to work with them on how much we can really help them simplify their life. So okay, so my next question is, I think everyone enjoys a little backstory. Can you share with us a little bit about your life before becoming a professional organizer and how you learned to embrace simplicity?
Yes. Actually, I wouldn't say I was super organized growing up. I was very neat. And I think there's a really big difference between neat and organized. So I was the type of person, when you walked into my room, everything was put away. But if you opened up the drawers, it wasn't really, I've always been like, I can't have clutter around me, but it wasn't super, like my checkbook was always a mess, and things were just, not, but it was fine. It was like, I could get by, I could take care of myself. It was enough. For me, I think the real changing point was children. When it went from one person to take care of, then my husband, then another child, then it went 4 of us, it just rocked my world. It really did. It just, things came together, and it wasn't working as well anymore. It's the checkbook being unorganized I couldn't get by anymore. Like, it wasn't, it was getting too chaotic. And that's really, I'd say, after the birth of my first child, is really when I started making some significant changes, really started thinking more about, how do I want to live my life? I can't live in this kind of chaotic feeling. I just wanted it. I knew it didn't have to be this hard, and there had to be an easier way, and there had to be a happier way.
Yeah.
And so I really started training and learning and reading and going through this whole kind of this introspection, I think, this self-transformation for several years, and just started to love my life again. I loved it. And then slowly that kind of went into a hobby, then a career, and now it's my life.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, that's cool. I always find it interesting because a lot of organizers or folks who are organized say that they've always been that way. And I kind of argue the point a little bit. I'm like, I think that I don't think there's anything that's, incredibly innate about organizing. I think it's a learned skill.
Yes.
And
I totally agree.
Yeah, and I know, like, for me, it was a little bit of how I was raised. But I was the messiest of 4 kids too. So,
right.
But it was that, and then I think that having kids and being responsible for others really pushes you to okay, I have to make some changes. I can't, like you said, I can't just get by.
Yeah,
it's too chaotic, and when you have other people involved, they count on you, and so So, well, that's cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so now that you are an organizer, in your experience, what are the most common areas people request your help for getting organized, and why do you think they struggle?
I would say the top 3, just all over and over, is just general clutter, clutter in general, papers, which is a huge one, and then time management. And I think time management is probably the hardest one for people to identify. They don't even necessarily understand that is the issue. They think it's all these other things, and then when we really get to the core of it, it's really the time management. But I think that, we're just not trained. This isn't a it can be, like you said, it can be a learned skill. I believe it is. It's not taught. Like, it's not taught in school, it's not taught in college, but, unless you have parents who were extremely organized, and not just them, but then if they taught you those skills, you might have it, or, but otherwise you don't learn these things. I often say, and I think it will be changing as our kids and the next generation comes, that organization needs to be part of curriculum in school, in middle school, and high school, and college. There needs to be like a class or 2, or every one class a year, because it's such an important skill that, like, brings you through your entire life, and there is no part of your life that can't be organized, whether it's your school books or your after school activities or your finances or your meals or, whatever it is. And I think that's why so many people struggle with it, because it's just not taught like everything else is in school,
Right, it's kind of like trial and error, and just kind of until you get to a desperation point and you have to take action. So I agree. I think that when I look back on all the things that, or out of all the classes and all the education I have and all the training I have, the things that were the most important to me, the classes or whatever that I took, like driver's education, because I drive every day, basic economics, because I got to manage that checkbook. I took home economics, which is basically how to cook and and sew and all that stuff. And those all are life skills.
Yes.
And those are the most important. Oh, typing too, because keyboarding,
typing,
So
totally.
Those classes, all like basic classes, are life skills in a way for our society today. And yet organizing, because the second you step out the door and you're on your own, professors expect you to turn in your assignments on time. Bosses want you to be to work on time. Yet they don't teach us. We're not taught how to manage our time, manage our possessions, manage our things, And so I agree with you. I hope that, I think NAPA, which is the National Association of Professional Organizers, I think our national society here of organizers, they're finally starting to, I think, make some movement and get some recognition, and especially with television too, as far as featuring organizers, helping people clear up their clutter and all that stuff. I think we're starting to make a little bit more of a movement towards helping the society know how important getting organized really is. So I hope your prediction is accurate and that it will someday be a part of our curriculum, you know?
I know.
So.
Well, I've heard there are in colleges, there are some colleges that's a major now, like you can major in organization.
Oh, really?
I don't know which ones, but I've actually heard this at my last chapter meeting in NAPO. Someone was talking about it, that there was, it's a couple colleges that now that they're doing that. So I think, yeah, we'll give it 10 more years and let's see what happens to this industry.
Well, until that happens, I know there's people like us, right?
That's right. That's right.
So now what you do as an organizer, you offer tons of tips about getting organized in the form of your blog posts, videos. I know you do just a little bit of hands-on, but you're moving kind of away from that a little bit. Right. But what I really love is I love your videos because they're very serious as far as the information that you're putting out there, but you do it in such a relaxed, down-to-earth, and funny way, which I think that helps you really connect with, everyday women. It's like, we're not all like serious, we can't laugh and everything has to be super structured. It's like, come on, let's just get real. Life happens, but we can kind of manage some of it. So what I want to know is what inspired you to move kind of from your hands-on organizing to offering like your online workshops and those videos and whatnot?
A few things. One, I think as I mentioned earlier, I sort of started in this career, I guess more as almost like a hobby, and then, sort of spend a few times and see what I'm good at. And then as I started working at it, as many organizers might, I realized the impact that it was really having and the level of just fulfillment I could give people and just how much more I think I didn't realize even what this gift was and how much it can mean to people. And it can truly change lives. I mean, I've heard it's changed people's marriages, it changes their relationships, And so the idea of being able to give back even more was just over the top thrilling for me. And so I thought, if I can move to speaking to one person at a time in their home to online, where obviously you can potentially reach millions of people online, what a greater impact that would be and how much more I could share this gift. And really all my videos are free. I mean, 90% of anything I've ever created on organizing is free. And so I can really add value in such a greater way than the one-on-one, a client a day or something like that. So that was one thing that really made me move. And then also a lot of the women I was working with are working. They have careers outside of the home. And it was really difficult for them to get me into their home on their schedule. It would have to either be on the weekends or they were too tired after work. And so there was just a level of frustration where they really wanted to work with someone or they just wanted to be trained on the skills, but they didn't have the time. And then, so the online workshops and training really allows people to get that training on their schedule. So you only have 15 minutes at the end of the day. You can watch a video or you have 2 hours on the weekend or an hour or 30 minutes or whatever it may be. You can't sleep at 3 a.m. You can put one on.
Right, there you go.
So those things combined just really, made me make that shift.
Oh, I think it's great because I checked out some of your workshops and you offer like some samples, I guess, of some of the workshops, which is really great. So it's good quality stuff. But I noticed that you have a new Powerhouse Workshop. Yes. And in your introductory video to the workshop, you talk about how getting and staying organized is more than just buying organizing products or watching the how-to videos, even though I know that we like to do those for people.
Right.
Or even hiring a professional organizer. Can you explain what you mean by that it's more than just all that stuff?
Sure. I think that, and I don't want to say the problem because we all have we go to different resources and we start maybe, like I said, with books or how-to videos. They're very much, how to do this, and they're kind of black and white. And I think before you kind of address a problem, you need to understand what the problem is.
Right.
And, it's like before you can have a solution, you really need to understand that. So in this workshop in Powerhouse, really take a deep dive into understanding yourself first, your unique circumstances, your personality type, your preferences, how your family runs, before saying, well, then this is what you need to do. Right. Because it's really customized to everybody. I mean, I'm sure as your experience going in home, every person is different. Every family is different. And when I was in home, I was really, I call it people were leaning more than learning. They were leaning on me to do everything versus learning how to do it and building that confidence themselves. And so that's something I really focus on. Kind of the first half of Powerhouse, or even more than that, is understanding yourself, having that introspection, being clear on what your goals are, what are your priorities, how does your behavior and personality going to guide you on how to get organized. And then we kind of get into all the steps. So that's really what I meant by that. It's when I'm more than just how to do this, but it's like, how do you take your insight and your behavior and then let that guide you to how you get organized?
Oh, I think that's excellent. Now, do you have other workshops on your site too that you offer?
I do. I also have one called Time Master, which is a time management workshop, which, again, if you're having trouble getting to places on time or getting your bills paid or just, or just feel like, honestly, that you feel at the end of the day, you've worked your butt off. You've done tons of stuff and you still feel like you got nothing done. And I think that's that's just the worst feeling. You just really lose your confidence and your ability to feel fulfillment in what you're doing. So, that's one. And then I just recently ran another one called 14 Days to a Simplified Life, which was a really big success. And it was a different format. You get an email from me every day for 14 days with just one simple to do and how to make a big impact. And these things you need to do only take 15 to 30 minutes every day, and how you can make significant changes in just that short amount of time every day.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So you've got a couple different options for people to kind of test out. Of course, the cool videos. Right. They just need to subscribe, period, because they're great.
Thank you. I love thank you.
Well, we're going to wrap up a little bit here. How can people find out about those workshops and your products and services?
Absolutely. Well, the best way is to come to my website, which is lifeisorganized.com. I'm also on Facebook at Life is Organized. My Twitter handle is Life is Organized. You can find me on YouTube, but that's under Mridu Parikh. So probably just stick to the Life is Organized on my website. It's easier to spell. And on there, you'll see all the resources. You'll see one for blog, which has over 100 free videos with organizing tips. And then under shop, you'll see all my different products, if you want to take it a step further.
Awesome.
And then I also offer some online or Skype coach, kind of we're doing right now, coaching. So no matter where you live in the world, we can get together and make some changes.
That's awesome. Well, I love that you can actually reach out. And like you said, the inspiration was to kind of reach a wider audience. And I always joke about how I'm on a mission to organize the world. I mean, because once you realize how empowering being organized and having control over the majority of your life. Now, things do happen. There's times where even our lives get chaotic as organizers. But we can actually cope a lot better. And so just knowing that, I love to share it. And I know that I can tell that you're very passionate about it too. Is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers today? Or
the last maybe thing I'd want to say is really for the viewers, for anyone who's feeling really overwhelmed or stressed out or chaotic, and you've been feeling this way for a while, I just really, really encourage you to call a professional or get consultation or get coaching. Because I think, again, I focus a lot on the self-confidence, and I feel that unfortunately women feel like they're either a failure or they should know how to do this stuff. And it's not true. It's not at all. It's just getting guidance and the support and the motivation you need, just as if you have an accountant or if you have a trainer or if you have someone who helps you clean your house. I mean, whatever it is, none of us can do it alone. And, I just think it's, if you are happier, your family's happier, your community is happier, everyone benefits. And so I encourage women to get help, whatever way they feel, with someone trusted that they feel comfortable with.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's excellent advice, and it's a great way to end our short but all very informative and wonderful interview. Thank you so much, Mridu, for joining us today. Really, really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.